Hello and welcome to this term's Soloists Soiree. We've got another batch of keen ABRSM candidates who are due to take their exams next week, and Leslie Ann and I have been busy working with them to prepare their pieces, and some of them have kindly agreed to play them for you today and talk a little bit about what they're going to play and their instruments. So we hope very much you enjoy that. If you are one of the people taking the exams next week, the very best of luck to you. And without further ado, let's meet our first soloist. Well, our first soloist for today is Molly here. And Molly is going to be playing this instrument. Can you hold it up and show it to your fans? Which, of course, is the wonderful flute. And the question I'd like to ask first of all is, why did you choose the flute, Molly?
Because I wanted to play something that I could take part in an orchestra with and play with everyone.
Really good idea, because one of the best things you can do with an instrument is to play it with other people in one of the ensembles. And you're midway, so year 6 now. How many years have you been playing the flute?
1.
1 year. Wow. And which grade are you doing next week?
4.
Grade 4. So that's pretty fast progress. Very impressive. Presumably you do a lot of practice.
Every day.
Every day. Listen to that, people. Every day she practices. Grade 4 in a year if you practice every day. The piece you're going to play is by Handel, and it's a piece from a sonata that he wrote for the flute, and I think originally the harpsichord, actually. What is tricky about this piece? What do you think is...
This piece is played at a really fast tempo, so it's really hard to play all the notes, so that's speed.
Good. And it's quite, I mean, listening to you play it, you also have to sort of breathe really quickly, don't you, in between things. That's quite tricky. But it sounds great. So here it is then. This is an allegro from a sonata by Handel and played by Molly. Our next performer is Misha, and she also is in Midway, year 6, and she is going to sing us a song. Now, Misha, as well as being a singer, you do lots of other things musically as well. Can you tell us a bit about that?
I play the bassoon and also the piano.
Wow, so you're a busy person. And how do you find fitting in all that practice in the week? How do you do that?
You do different things on different days. So I have one day that I practice bassoon and then I do singing and piano together.
Oh, I see. Brilliant. Okay, that's really good. And as somebody who plays instruments, are there any sort of good reasons why singing helps you with that? I mean,
yes. So if you start singing before you play piano and bassoon, you know how the notes work and you know what the dynamics mean and everything like that.
So it kind of like helps with pitching and all that sort of thing. And because a lot of the skills you learn in singing are really useful in instruments as well, so that's good. So which grade are you doing next week?
3.
3. And what is your piece?
It's called In the Garden.
Okay, and who's it by? Or?
I'm not sure who's it by, but it's a Ukrainian folk song.
Ah, so it's not going to be by anybody as such, but yeah. And so when you're singing this piece, and of course you'll be there in the exam room, well, this is the exam room, what kind of things have you got to think about when you're performing this piece?
The words, to make sure that they're clearly, and you have to know when to breathe because the breaths are really short. You don't get much time to breathe.
Good. Okay, so there it is. So here comes In the Garden, Ukrainian folk song, sung by Misha.
Thank you. Boys will quarrel where I'm going. Tum-ta, dritta, tum-ta, tra. Hoi, 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 ah, my little head is aching. Hoi, 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 ah, the trouble I am making. Boys to quarrel is so crazy. Tum-ta, dritta, tum-ta, tra. Pretty girls are always lazy. Tum-ta, dritta, tum-ta, tra. Hoi, 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 ah, my little head is aching. Hoi, 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 ah, the trouble I am making.
Our next soloist is Martha, who is in Shell, that's year 5. And Martha, we can only just see the top of your fantastic instrument, but can you tell us what it is that you are playing?
This is a double bass, and it's a quarter-sized double bass.
Quarter-sized double bass. And what made you choose to play this very fine instrument?
Well, I like bass clef instruments, and I like unusual instruments as well.
So that you've found the perfect unusual bass clef instrument. That's
Yeah.
very good. Now, it has to be said, if you'll forgive me for mentioning it, you are not the biggest person that I've ever met, and yet you're playing the very biggest of all the instruments that is available in the orchestra. So, how do you get on carrying it around?
My car, I have to sit in the front, and then my mum just puts a seat down, so that's
Oh,
how we
right.
travel with it.
Yeah.
And then to carry it around, well, just struggle.
I have to say, we have to pay tribute to Martha's mum here, because we often see her around the grounds of St Ronan's carrying this great thing on her back. So you have a very good porter. What Martha's mum may possibly not know is, as Martha said, this is a half size, isn't it? So eventually, or is it quarter? I'm not sure.
Quarter.
It's a quarter size. So when you get a really big one, oh my word, bit of weight training there from Mrs. G. So you play several other instruments, don't you? Can you tell us something about the other instruments that you play?
So I also play the piano, the bassoon, the drum kit, and I have percussion lessons and singing lessons.
Wow. So how do you fit all that in? How do you do all the practice for all of that?
I just fit it in sometimes after school, or like on the weekends and stuff.
So you need to be very organised to get it
Yeah.
all in, I guess. So that's what it's all about. Very good. And you started the double bass quite recently. When did you begin your lessons?
I had my my introduction to the double bass, the lesson before the Easter holidays.
Right, so not even a term yet. And you're doing which grade next week?
I'm doing grade 2.
Wow, so that's pretty good progress. Well done. So for your piece today, what are you going to play for us?
I'm going to be playing Edelweiss from The Sound of Music.
Excellent. So here is Martha with Edelweiss. Well, next we have Zach with us, and Zach is playing a marvellous instrument, which you can't see at the moment, but Zach, if you could just hold it up for your audience. There it is, the fantastic saxophone. And which saxophone is that? Because there are lots of different
the
types.
alto saxophone.
Okay, so this is alto, the one that you start, and it's very complicated. There are loads of keys and stuff all over it. Is it difficult to play?
Well, slightly. When you get the hang of it, I feel, well, it's quite easy.
Yeah.
Because, you know, you're kind of into it and you know where everything is, so.
Okay, so that's good. And of course, the fingering system of the sax, a bit like all the other wind instruments, is basically based on the recorder. So once you've done your recorder karate, you've got the sort of basics to start on most instruments. So why did you choose the sax rather than any of the others?
Well, because I'd done recorder, I thought I was quite good at recorder. I decided to do it because it's pretty much the same, and I like the sound.
Yeah.
I like jazz kind of music as well.
Well, I'm glad you mentioned jazz. But notice Zach said he likes the sound of that. Of course, that's a really good reason for picking an instrument. You've got to like the sound of it if you're going to play it. Of course, the sax is associated with jazz, but it was invented in the 19th century by a guy called Monsieur Sax, who was a Frenchman. And it was invented before jazz and pop music existed. So it was actually a classical instrument to start with. So that is why, for partly the reason anyway, I've asked Zach to play a piece this morning that is actually a classical piece. And you listen to him play, listen to the contrast in his dynamics. It's very easy to play these instruments really loudly, but it's difficult to play them very quietly. And this piece requires you to do both. And Zach is the master of quiet playing on saxophone. So that's brilliant. Can you tell us what's it called?
Morning.
And it's by the Norwegian composer Edvard Grieg. So here is Zach with Morning. Good luck. Here we go. Well, now we've got Merrin with us. Merrin is in Shell, that's year 5. And which grade are you working at the moment, Merrin?
Grade 4.
Grade 4, and this is singing. And you're going to be singing us a lovely piece called The Bluebell Wood by Betty Rowe. And I suppose Bluebell time has just gone over a bit, but it was a really good year for bluebells this year. Merrin, when you're singing this piece, what kind of things have you got to think about?
You've got to think about when you come in so the timing's just right, and you've got to be careful with the triplets. You don't want them to sound like normal crotchets.
So all the while you're singing, you're not just sort of enjoying, well, you are enjoying it, of course, but you've got to think all the time about what's coming next, what you're doing, and so on. And of course, when we're performing, that's what it's like. You know, we were always sort of concentrating on what's coming up. And it's a very lovely song. And recently you had a bit of marvellous success in that you were accepted into the National Youth, Junior Youth National Choir. What is it called, Merrin? Tell us.
The National Junior Youth Girls Choir.
Excellent. I knew you'd know.
Well, I think it was that.
That sounds good to me. And of course, you had to audition for that with lots of other people competing for it. So well done indeed for getting in. And you've been to some of their events, haven't you? Tell us what you did most recently.
We did lots of singing. We met lots of people.
who did different styles of singing, and like every day we did something different, a different style, like Western. We even did some beatboxing.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
You couldn't possibly demonstrate that, could you? I'll take that as a no. But no, so you're expanding all kinds of aspects of using your voice in a choir and with other people, so that's really good. Great, well, congratulations on getting that, because not many people do. And so we've got the marvellous Mr. Benyons here to accompany this one. This is The Bluebell Wood by Betty Rowe, and to sing it for us, Erin. Good luck.
Stretching away down the shallow slopes and spreading beneath the trees. Wherever I looked in the bluebell wood, there were shadows of apple green shadows under the leaves, where the sun could not be seen. Wherever I looked in the bluebell wood, and the gold of the sun broke through, it seems that a sea of gold green light was dancing over the blue.
So next we've got the great Matty and whatnot here, who is going to play his fabulous instrument. Now, Matty, you've put it on the floor, but can you pick it up and sort of show it to the person who's watching? Matty, can you tell us what is this incredible piece of plumbing that you have here?
It is a euphonium.
Oh, very good. And do you know what euphonium literally means?
It means good sound in Latin.
Good sound in Greek. But
Greek,
never mind,
yes.
It's a good sound. And it is a good sound, actually. This is a fabulous instrument. I really love this thing. Why on earth did you choose this wonderful thing?
Because Steve, when I was in year 2, went into the chapel and he played the hose pipe with a mouthpiece, and that got me into it.
And Steve, of course, is our wonderful Mr. Hollenby, who teaches trumpet and this kind of thing,
Yes.
and so on. So, yes, so there you are. So you were inspired by a piece of hose pipe.
Yes.
Well, there you go. What grade are you doing next week?
I'm doing grade 5 next
Grade
week.
5. Crumbs, tricky stuff. And your piece is?
It is Raiders March by John Williams.
John Williams, and this is from the film, isn't it? From
Yeah.
Raiders of the Lost Ark. So,
Yeah.
well, here it is. Good luck with your exam.
Yeah,
So
thank
here is a really good sound in Greek
In
from the euphonium. Thanks, Matty.
That's okay. Thank you.
So here is Felix, and Felix is taking grade 6 bassoon next week. And Felix, what are you going to play for your exam?
William Hurlstone Sonata in F major,
Indeed.
4th movement, and Mozart's Bassoon Concerto, and also I'm playing Weissenborn's Study.
Wow. Now this is tricky stuff, isn't it, grade 6? I mean, pretty tricky repertoire. Tell me, what led you to be a bassoonist?
The excitement of just playing new pieces and being able to, sort of always having the tune, being able to accompany rich bass notes.
Yes, because it does have this wonderfully sort of fruity sound, which you'll hear in a moment when Felix plays to us. And how long have you been playing for?
Just over 2 years.
2 years to grade 6, that's pretty good progress. Now, we also know that you've had a bit of success recently because you've got a scholarship to study at the Junior Royal Academy. This is the Royal Academy of Music in London. So Felix is going to be going up on Saturday mornings to do that. And what are you going to do when you're there? What sort of things do you do there?
So we have general musicianship lessons, which is things like oral, and then also I have orchestras and choirs as well.
Excellent. So real sort of developing your musicianship and not just the bassoon as well. So that's really good. Excellent. So we're going to be hearing the 4th movement of the Hurlstone Sonata for bassoon. A sonata is a piece of music which is for solo instrument and piano. Now, Felix, this piece is fiendishly difficult to play on the piano. Is it difficult on the bassoon?
Also difficult on the bassoon.
Yeah, I think it is actually. So well done for learning it. It's a really good piece. Here it is then, Hurlstone Sonata for bassoon. Good luck next week.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Well, that was a fantastic end to a really great Soloists Soiree. Huge thank you to everybody who took part, and good luck to everybody who's doing exams next week. And thank you all very much for watching. Goodbye.